Today's February 18th, 2025. It's approximately about 5 a.m. in the morning. Approximately 5 a.m. Oh, yeah, it's 5 a.m. Now, I had the opportunity to have four funded accounts. Now, these are two-phase funded accounts, which I was able to obviously pass the two phases to get to. But it's like it's 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 it seems it's like stage fright. So I finally work towards it, like working like months and years to get to the point where I am now funded. And then as soon as I get funded, then I get stage fright. And I get stage fright enough so that uh, I would force my trade. Okay, I would force it. I would force the trade, and then I'd get tilted when my trade does not go in my in it doesn't go as my thesis. Okay, and I get tilted, and then when I get tilted, then things become even worse, and and I would like unravel, even though it was working okay. So the previous funded account, the 10K funded account with funding traders, is the exact uh, representation of how I get frightened when I'm making a trade. Now, um, I suppose it's very similar to I suppose it's very similar to a professional athlete or somebody who's a singer or who's like first time at bat at a major league uh, after coming out of maybe in college, maybe in college, uh, somebody could be exposed to that environment and makes it easier for them, right? So what I've noticed is that uh, now this is the fourth time. It's very similar to my trading. When I first began, I was like stumbling through, but it seems to me, even on a funded stage, is a totally different game. It's like, it seems to be like being in a simulation environment, making the right trades, and then all of a sudden, live money is used to make the trades. And when that happens, there is a element of there is an element of emotional confusion that occurs. And and that just complicates each and every one of the trades because at any moment, just like a road rage, just like road rage. I mean, I was I was driving to I was driving to go get myself a buffet, and when I was driving through there, I thought to myself, if something were to happen to me, like a traffic stop, it is possible for me to like essentially like those people who are on YouTube, like who are being chased by police officers. After I get When I get pulled over for like maybe some infraction, that I would just take off and do something like that. There is a possibility that happens like that. And so uh, I was successful, consistent for 1 month, and then I passed phase one, and then I passed phase two in 2 weeks, each day making incremental progress, and I lose control, and I allowed my trading to just get out of control, and it latches. It's like a switch. It's like a switch in my mind that I cannot free myself until that account is no longer valid. So I'm walking through my funded account, which essentially the first day was like making $50. The second day I was making $80, and then the third day I made about $30, and it all equated to somewhere around $150. And I got to that point, and then the day of the during the day of the first serious tilt that occurred is essentially uh, when I made a trade that went the other direction, which is possible. It happens. And then I got tilted on that, and then my mind just eroded into a debilitation that caused me to essentially just uh, turn the switch. It just turned the switch in my mind, and I proceeded to collapse like an avalanche on my funded account. It seems to be related to a stage fright. Instead of being able to separate my emotional my emotion, and then separating myself from that so that I can reasonably think it out. Prior on the day of when my account was breached due to maximum loss, I actually had $330, $9,330, and 10% will essentially uh, breach the account. Okay, so I had 330, and when I started to make a series of I all I had to do I could have done multiple things. I could have done multiple things, but the thought never occurred to me. Even though I was saying to myself, look, uh, it took you about a month and a half to get to this point, and you're just frittling away. You're just punting it away. That the actions that you're taking is causing you to punt this thing away. Okay, and the force was not with me. Okay, the force was with the market, and I was trying to like force the market my own way. Okay, but there's a force out there, the market force, the Wall Street force, that I need to be aware of, and I need to be in the same room and be connected and be aware of it so that I could be subjective, not objective. Uh, okay? So that I can be objective, not subjective. Okay? So when I got to that point, I was being subjective, and there was nothing in this world, in my own little cubicle world, who could specifically identify what I was going through to tell me that, look, you don't have to trade today. You don't have to trade today. You can skip a day, wait a bit, allow your emotions to completely deplete so that you don't do something rash. Okay? And so, but I did that. I did that. So there is a force in the universe of Wall Street. And I was attempting to take my force and infringe upon the force that are out there. And so what I have to do is have that force that's out there be with me. Okay, may the force be with me. Okay, and in Star Wars, there's a statement called "May the force be with you." Okay, may the force be with you. What I'm saying is, may the force be with me. I cannot force my own into a trade, which will cause most likely a difference in what the market force is doing and what my force is doing. This YouTube video is just for me, just to close out what went through, and so that the next time I get to the point, it's like it's I suppose it's like graduating from like uh, with an airplane license, like a driver's license, and first few times it's awkward. and it's difficult to do. But as time progresses, it seems to be the same way with funded accounts as well. Somehow in my mind, I've separated between the challenge and evaluation stage with a funded account, and then I've created in my mind that even though the trading is practically the same thing except for commissions, it's exactly the same thing except for commissions between the simulation and the actual live account. Commissions is the only difference between there. But somehow in my mind, I've twisted it and separated it and then made it more important. If it was more important, really important, I would have taken my time and made it work. But something just caused this uh, emotion to be just blown out of control and caused me to lose 1.5 months of work. Okay, I punted away 1.5 months of work, and with $330, I could have done anything with that. All I had to do was just, just take it easy. Okay, hold off. There's other things that I could do. I don't have to trade at that moment. But trading alone, I cannot see myself, my own reflection, because I was in a tunnel vision, trying to get to that point. Especially when I had like $13 left, and I'm like so close. I'm so close, and then soon as that one mistake occurs, it just unraveled everything. 1.5 months of work, almost a week of progress in my funded account just became unraveled. Now I know with familiarity, it's going to get easier for me to trade the funded account, but I cannot conclude that because there's only a difference between a commission and the only thing that's different is commission between the funded account, that I cannot uh, take lightly of what emotions can do to my trading. It's different. There's definitely a difference because it matters more somehow. I don't know how, but has uh, my mind is aware that it matters more in a funded account, even though it's practically the same thing. But there is that added flavor of emotion that's in there that causes on any other day, in any other day, with any other account that is not a funded account, in that situation, my mind would not be in this tilt. Tilt is like a switch. Okay, tilt is like a switch. It has to be flipped the other way. And there are things that occurs, there are things that will cause it to flip. But and one of the things that flips the switch of that tilt is like losing the account. When that losing the account, the switch is turned off. Okay? But until then, it's incredibly difficult to find some means to turn that tilt off. Anyway, so I'm working on it. I can already see in my next challenge that I'm doing. I already bought another challenge and I'm working on it. I can see that the calm thing that I have is causing me to be very objective instead of being subjective. I can see that already. I can see it. I can see the logical side that allows me to trade small and that I'm doing it right now. And my results are reflecting what I'm doing. So, what I have to say to myself is that may the force be with me. May the force be with me so that when the next time I get funded, then I know these things, and it requires repetition. It takes practice. It requires me to be on that base, okay? And home run base, home plate base, home plate, ready to swing that bat. Okay, when that pitch is there, I can I can bat it without being blinded by this subjectivity. Okay, so that's it. Okay, it seems like a coach talk to myself, but this happens. This really does happen. I'm more prone to it because obviously uh, my mental acuity is lower than normal people. Okay, it happens more so than other people, and I have to admit that my mental acuity. Okay, I'm not as smart as other people. I can tell you that. Okay, definitely. So may the force be with me. Next time I get funded, oh, watch out. Watch out!